Good evening, traders, or good morning, or good afternoon, or whatever time it is when you're watching this video. This is CloudChartist with your weekly Ichimoku wrap video for the week ending April 8th. It's now April 10th, Sunday night. Futures are going to open in about a half hour, so I'm going to try to get this done before they do, so we won't have any additional candles to worry about. This is the ES. I'm going to zoom in, make it bigger. So the ES is last week put in a reversal in that it did not close on the highs, but we note that it's still in an uptrend. Still have a higher high and a higher low in place. We did close somewhat south of the middle of the candle last week. And we are still bullish in all ways Ichimoku. We are above the cloud. The Chikou is also above the cloud and doesn't have any overhead interference. This is the Chikou here, this red line representing price action, time shifted 26 periods into the past, so 26 weeks in this case. One thing that we can make note of is that if you see, let's zoom in, make this bigger so it's easier to see. If you see, the Chikou came down and made contact with the cloud, perhaps around this area, and put in a bounce, which is why we closed off the lows, or why we did not go further. Actually, the cloud, to be precise, the cloud is at, let's see, around 2025. Low wasn't quite that much. The low was 2026. So let's say 6 points off above the cloud. The Chikou stayed 6 points above the cloud. I hope I'm not getting too confusing right in the beginning of the video, but basically whatever the Chikou has to deal with over here, current price has to deal with, even if you can't see it. So going forward, some factors that we have here, we have a Tenkan-sen pointing upwards. Perhaps if we get some more momentum to the upside, we will have a bull cross, but that is not the case so far. The Kijun-sen is bear crossed over the Tenkan-sen. We are last week was right above this cloud twist area. Next week, or starting tonight, we will have a slightly higher cloud, but the cloud is still thin here and still pretty much flat until we get into the end of May. So that itself suggests sideways price action and a tight range. So it's possible we could see choppy flagging type action in the future, but that's just one possibility. So in order to maintain the uptrend, we need to once again make a higher high and a higher low. Otherwise, this candle could potentially be a marker of a reversal. All right, bear with me for 1 second. Okay, next up, let's take a look at crude. Crude put in a bullish candle last week after putting in a lower low, and it actually put in a lower high and a lower low, but it did close near the highs. So it is still technically in a downtrend from this reversal here. But we did close above the Kijun-sen, which is productive as far as price action potentially reversing to the upside. This candle could mark a reversal to the upside. Overall, however, this chart is still bearish as price action is under the cloud, and the Tenkan-sen is still bear crossed, meaning it's underneath the Kijun-sen, which is the pink line, and the Chikou has resistance above. In fact, it has resistance above for the next few weeks at this 44.33 level. So that's going to be important, even though you don't see resistance over here at that level. The Chikou is going to run into resistance for the next couple of weeks. So keep an eye on that 44.33 level. Otherwise, if we do find sellers, we can watch for that 38.09 Kijun-sen to potentially hold support. If that doesn't hold, then we can look down here to the flat Tenkan-sen at 34.27 to potentially act as support for CL on the weekly time frame. Let's look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ kind of a spinning top type doji, potential reversal candle here as well. Was unable to get above the prior, or unable to close above the prior high candle, which was at 45.29.50. This let's see, we opened at 45.26.75 and proceeded to close relatively close to the lows. So what do we have going forward for NASDAQ? We could come down all the way to the Kijun-sen down here at around 4,300.88. We could come down to the cloud support down at 42.66 thereabouts, and then the Tenkan-sen all the way down at 42.03. That's support to the downside. But, however, as I was mentioning before, the Chikou could find support at the top of this candle, which is 44.39. So we could actually find support at that 44.39 level, which is not too far from last week's low. And then if the Chikou manages to hold the support of the candles here, then it has a lot of candles to ride up. If you get what I'm talking about, the Chikou, if it finds support here, its tendency is to go back above the candles. So that means we could see a significant move to the upside, or the Chikou could break through down here. If the Chikou breaks through these candles here, there's going to be some support that is around the 44, let's call it 43.38 area. There is a cloud twist here, so if we get bearish price action, we could be in danger of breaking through the cloud to the downside, so keep an eye on that. One could try to argue maybe some triangulation, but I'm not going to go there quite yet. We'll let this build out a little bit more. Okay, let's look at the Russell. Jeez, my fibs are still on there from before. Bear with me. All right, looking at the Russell, we see that we're bearish and that we're underneath the cloud. We have resistance at the top of the cloud. That's going to be, at the bottom of the cloud, that's going to be around 1165 thereabouts. Chikou has also found resistance. See, that's a perfect example of Chikou finding resistance at the bottom of this candle and being rejected down lower. This week, Chikou resistance is much higher. The bottom of this candle here is around 1130, and then the actual body of the candle is all the way up here at the cloud. So we could have a bullish move to the upside for the Russell. If we don't have a bullish move to the upside, and this inside candle does suggest the potential for a trend change to the downside, we could look for support at that 1072.10 area, and then below that at 1026.50 at the Tenkan-sen below. All right, let's look at the Dow. The Dow put in a higher high and a higher low, so we are in an uptrend on the Dow. We are bullish as we are above the cloud here. And we do note that the Chikou did come down and test the cloud here and test slightly inside the cloud and then put a bounce in and closed above the cloud. So it looks like the Chikou is trying to hold support here, at least for the time being. If we do get a move lower and the Chikou breaks into the cloud, we could find potential for support at the top of this candle, which is around, let's see, 17,126. And then if we don't find support there, we could come down and test the top of the cloud here, which is at approximately 16,810 thereabouts for the Dow. And if we do get a move to the upside, continued move to the upside, we could see a potential for the Tenkan-sen to cross over the Kijun-sen for a bull cross, but bull crosses are not that exciting when they're under the cloud. To get excited about a bull cross, you really want to see them above the cloud. For those of you who watch my video every week, you'll be happy to note that my neighbor's dog is not barking, and my other neighbor on the other side is not mowing their lawn. So we have nice, peaceful They brought me to make the video, and although I'm in a rush because I gotta finish it before they open. So let's go to look at some metals. Let's look at gold. I was looking at historical gold prices today because I used to, I went to art school and I used to use actual 24 karat gold in my artwork back in the 90s, and so I was curious. I remember what I paid for the gold, and I recently bought some gold for art purposes again, and I was curious, you know, how much the price had gone up since I bought it, because I wasn't trading gold in college, and I was kind of shocked at how cheap gold was back in the 90s, interestingly. But anyway, moving along, we see that gold is doing what I like to call a pullback to breakout pattern here. It's basically a bull flag that gets an overbought pullback. Didn't quite really get overbought if we look at the RSI down here, but it came pretty close to overbought. Got a pullback down and came down and bounced off the Tenkan Sen here, and in this candle here, and then continued to close above the Tenkan Sen. So this kind of pattern, it kind of looks like, I don't know, a Daffy Duck maybe. This is a bullish pattern. So we could see gold breaking out, continuing to go higher. We do have this obvious resistance here around the 1260.50 level. And we also have the cheek out inside the cloud here. If the gold actually can't break out, we could see it the cheek out sinking back into the cloud and then having a hard time getting above this flat cloud level here. There are some factors to this chart that make me less bullish, despite this nice pattern. We do have a flat cloud below, and then we have a cloud that is descending into late April, early May, June time period, and then in the heat of the summer in August, we have a very thin cloud and a cloud twist here. So that's not particularly bullish. But after that period, then we have a rising cloud ahead. So we'll see if it's important for gold to continue to hold the Tenkan Sen. If you want to be bullish on gold. Let's look at silver. Silver, let me zoom out again. Silver kind of looks like it's trying to make an inverse head and shoulders type pattern. Chugging along here, it's very messy, extremely messy, but you could argue for a very confused left shoulder, a confused head here, and a confused right shoulder. Just in, if you want to be really, it's a bottoming pattern nonetheless, even if it's not particularly head and shoulders like. It's important though, however, let's zoom in, get up close and personal. It's important for, if we want to see any bullish progress for silver, for price to get into the cloud and stay in the cloud on a closing basis, because right now it's still in bearish territory. And it needs to get into the cloud to close in neutral territory. It won't be bullish until we get above the cloud which is currently around 1622. So that's quite a ways above before silver can be in bull territory. And there's significant resistance levels between here and there. This 1582 level is very important. The Tenkan Sen currently is at 1539, so that's the first real hurdle. That's confluent with the cloud here. Approximately the cloud's sort of around at like 1542 at the moment, or thereabouts. So that's real. This area is real important for silver at the moment. If we don't see a break into the cloud and we get a move to the downside, we can look to the Kijun Sen down here below to once again provide support at that very important $14.99, $15 level. $15 level is important for support on silver if you are looking for prices to go higher. If we lose that $15 level, then we can expect lower prices for sure, in my opinion. And we're still bearish, so that is the likelihood at the moment. let's look at some nasty, sorry about that, nasty treasuries. So the 30-year Treasury bond is continuing its move higher and put in a close above the Tenkan-sen, which is bullish. The Chikou is free to move higher, we see over here. The only thing that's not bullish about this chart is the topping tail here into prior resistance area. So do keep an eye on that 165.28 level. If we do lose that 165.28 level, then we can expect some either sideways or sideways to lower price action. If we do get a move to the downside, we have the 161.03 Kijun-sen offering support below. This, I'm sorry, my chart is locked up for the moment. Bear with me while I, actually that's interesting. Well, so maybe you can see my crayon. Oh, there we go. It's moving. This area here could attract price into this like trough area, but we need to get below, we need a close below the Tenkan-sen and a close below the Kijun-sen for that to even begin to think about that. Let us move along to the 10-year. We did put in a close below the Tenkan-sen last week, so I was expecting that was possible, that was resistance to the upside, but we do see that, or 2 weeks ago I should say, but you do see that last week. Let me zoom in a little bit. We proceeded to blast over the Tenkan-sen and came up and tested this prior resistance level, which has shown to be resistance multiple times in the past. Around, let's see, the close was 131.025. This close, let's see, over here was 131.015. So definitely this 131.002 level is resistance for the moment, but we'll see what whether we can get over that. Overall, in Ichimoku terms, this chart is bullish above the cloud, above the Tenkan-sen, above the Kijun-sen. The Tenkan-sen is bull crossed. If we do find sellers, we do have support at the Tenkan-sen to the downside at 130.175. If we break back into this range between the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen, we have lots of different support levels in there that we can look at on shorter time frames, but we also have support down here at the Kijun-sen at 129.050 on ZN. Okay, looking at the dollar, we see we are neutral inside the cloud. We are in a downtrend. We put in a smaller candle here. Let's zoom in even more. Put in a smaller candle after this bearish candle back into the cloud. This could be a potential reversal candle to the upside, but it would require a higher high and a higher low in order to prove that. And there's no reason to necessarily believe that will happen. We could also see test lower, and we don't have support technically in Ichimoku terms until the bottom of the cloud, which is going to be around 90 to, let's call it 92.77. If we do get a move to the upside, we're going to have cloud top resistance at 95, let's see, 95.21. If we do get a move over the cloud, then we're going to have resistance at the Tenkan-sen, wherever that happens to be next week when the new candle opens. Currently it's at 96.315. And I think I'm going to not look at any commodities besides the metals that I already looked at tonight, and just wrap it up, keep this video short. Thank you for joining me. If you're interested in learning more about Ichimoku, do check out my website at CloudChartist.com. Do follow me on Twitter at CloudChartist. If you like this video and you want to give me a thumbs up on YouTube, I guess it apparently will help with getting good bandwidth for my channel, or so I've been told. If you don't like this video and you want to give me a thumbs down, feel free to do that as well, but please do give me an explanation so I can improve my videos in the future. And good luck trading this week, and thanks for watching. Take care.